you have a startup. First of all, I'm very happy for you. Congratulations. Probably by now you already know that statistically speaking, most of startups fail, and you want to maximize the odds of your succeeding. This is where a startup accelerator can be very helpful, because their goal precisely to help you to survive as a startup and also to help you to move really fast. Hi, my name is Costa, and I was lucky to go through two accelerator programs, one in Paris, it's called Numa, and the other one is in New York, it's called Startup Ventures. Today we will discuss in depth what are accelerators for, and also how to find a good one, how to apply, and how to get maximum value out of your accelerator experience. Accelerator sometimes looks like a business school, however it is even more practical. So first of all, they give you education that will help you to, polish areas where you feel uncomfortable. It can be, for example, business development, it can be sales, it can be legal stuff or product management. They also help you to actually reach out to potential customers. They sometimes do it with you, holding your hand. They also give you perks. In our case, we had, I think, $500 credit with Notion. We had very good terms with HubSpot and many different other perks as well. And more important is that Accelerator gives you access to the network of Accelerator, which is investors, potential partners, even clients sometimes. At the end of acceleration program, you usually have this big demo day where you pitch your idea already dramatically improved with the help of Accelerator, and ideally what you want to get is investment commitments. Because running startup is already a risky enough endeavor, whatever you decide to do with your time should be very strategic. That's why you start from picking an accelerator based on your company's strategy. What is it? Are you going to enter new markets, for example? Are you going after a specific vertical? Or are you interested in collaboration with some larger organizations? There is a very good website that I really like. It's called f6s.com. You basically go there and you scroll through all the options. You can use filters, geography, vertical, everything, and this is how you select your accelerator. But this is not all of it. So don't forget that there may be very different terms. So accelerator can give you investments sometimes in the form of convertible note or SAFE. Some of them take equity, some of them prefer for you to pay for acceleration program. So this is another factor to consider. It's extremely important as well to talk to people who went through this acceleration program. So I would go to LinkedIn and just reach out directly, because sometimes whatever is written on the website can be very different from the actual experience in an acceleration program. Always start from this mindset. They need you too. They are interested to have a good startup because this is their business. That is why never be desperate. Try to convey confidence, and also don't forget that you are deciding which accelerator to apply to. You start from filling out many forms online, and this is where you try to convey that your startup can be a very good investment in the future. Whatever you convey when answering the question about your strategy, about your market share, about your future plans, it should be very consistent with priorities of this accelerator. Other advice for this section is apply to several accelerators, not just one accelerator, because the probability of being accepted is relatively low. However, make sure that this short list is very consistent with your priorities, your geography, your vertical, maybe some particular startups that are part of this acceleration, so you like these startups. Finally, I don't recommend you to chase tier 1 startups accelerators only, because there is a very low probability you will get accepted, and if you do it several times in a row, you will lose time, and sometimes you will lose momentum and attractiveness. So after several interviews and after probably a couple of months waiting time, you are finally accepted to become a part of acceleration program. I'm very happy for you, because it's going to be a lot of fun if you are lucky to be a part of good accelerator. It is very important though to be very focused and to make sure you get as much value out of it as possible. An accelerator program is not the same as school. So you have different startups having very different expertise and strengths and weaknesses. To make sure that Startup Accelerator can help everybody, they have a very big collection of educational materials, webinars, workshops, etc. However, you have a very limited amount of time, as I mentioned earlier. So you have to decide which areas are important for you and which you can skip, because there is no way you can attend each seminar, each workshop. So very early on, decide which area of the business is something you need help with. Ideally, you want to make sure that someone from this accelerator who already did some analysis made this decision for you as well. As I mentioned earlier, the whole purpose of this acceleration is to eventually, for most cases, get funding. So funding is something you get from many different things, but also from networking. That is why it is very important to start networking very early and to be very consistent and, I would say, systematic in the way you build your relationships. You have to build network with your peer startups, with managers of acceleration program, and with potential partners around this program. Trying a slightly new format here. I'm just tired of sitting. When you do build relationships for networking, this should not be too serious. Don't forget that the strongest connections are built when you have both rational and emotional reason to be connected. That is why it is very important to go out, to have drinks, just to have some fun while you are enjoying the program. An important piece of advice is to be much more organized than you usually are. The thing is, during the acceleration program, everything is happening very quickly because it is an accelerator, right? And second, there are many things you cannot predict and they suddenly pop up in your calendar. For example, a huge expert in a certain field is coming to give a workshop and you cannot miss it because it is, for example, your particular interest, your particular subject. Or you have another opportunity and they happen every day. That's why it is important to be, first of all, organized in general. Second, probably ask a manager of Accelerator what tools you should use to be on top of your game as much as possible. I mentioned the drinks part earlier. However, I mentioned this is important because you have to build network and everything. But I also want to emphasize that going through an accelerator program is an absolutely unique experience, something that probably will not happen again in your life. You will have people coming from different countries, having very different background, but united with one idea, building something great. So I recommend you to enjoy this time as much as possible, because you will definitely get new friends. For example, I have several friends from both acceleration programs. I love them and I think these are incredible times when I was, building something together. So enjoy it as much as possible. Have to give back. The community of entrepreneurs is very unique and you're building it all together. Today, when you decide to join an acceleration program, you're deciding to even upgrade the level of your relationships with the world of entrepreneurs. And if you are continue your effort to give back, to help others, it will develop this community even further. And second, you will be surprised how many people can benefit from acceleration program. Even if you have experience, if you have an advanced degree, or you have many startups before, having an acceleration program sometimes can help you to save time, the most important asset you have today. I personally, person who spent years building business before, who have advanced degree from one of the best business schools in the world, find accelerator program extremely beneficial for myself. Very much for watching. I think that this is one of the videos that definitely should be shared because many of us entrepreneurs are currently considering applying or not applying to acceleration program. So please share it, hit like and subscribe button. I will be happy to give you even more useful content in the future. Talk to you soon. Bye bye.